Man, the SEC has so many interesting quarterbacks.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skin are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
No thin skin, but we do have some sunburnt skin here on this week's edition of the SEC squad. I'm Zach Blackerby. I host Locked On Auburn. I'm filling in for Chris Gordy as he is at a Creed concert. Stephen Wills of Locked On Ole Miss joining us. Corey Burton clearly at the beach. He hosts Locked On Vandy. Jimmy Stein of Locked On Bama. And John Miller of Locked On Mizzou. I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of the more interesting quarterbacks. As we all know, we can't get enough of quarterback discussion. So I wanted to throw a question to each of you. You can't say a quarterback on your own roster. Steven, you can't say Trinidad Shambles. I know you're going to want to. But I thought it'd be fun to go around and discuss the most intriguing quarterback in the SEC from your point of view, from your team's point of view. John, can you start us off here? Who's intriguing from the Mizzou point of view? Obviously can't say anyone on Missouri's roster.
I'm actually going to go with Lenora Sellers, who everybody loved last season. Seemed to have had a little bit of a down season. Now I think you're looking at the new offensive coordinator bump, which is a new theory of mine that I've been bandying about in our group chat. And I do think in this situation in particular with the Gamecocks, getting Mike Shula out the door, I think it should be big for Sellers, and I think he has a pretty big bounce-back season.
Yeah, it's so funny, how much has really changed from 365 days ago where, we couldn't get enough of.
Yeah, he was talking
Sellers
about being the 1-1 in the NFL draft, and then, of course, he came back for a lot of money. I think he would have still been an interesting prospect. A first-rounder, though, maybe not. I think he can get back there. I really do. Experience means a whole lot, especially in this league.
Yeah, does he have the guys around him to help him take that step, I guess, is my biggest question.
That's true. They're already down a couple tackles, I think. It's been a brutal spring here so far for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Marler of Locked On Gamecocks. It's like every time he does a show, it's somebody else getting injured. So we'll see. But yeah, Lenora Sellers, the skill set's there, right? We saw glimpses of it. Can he put it all together? That's super, super intriguing. Corey Burton, what say you?
Man, I'm interested in Byrum Brown, honestly, because that's the first SEC quarterback that Vanderbilt's up against. And I want to see how he navigates the first part of the season, how they mesh into Alex Golesh's offensive scheme, and how that whole team just kind of gels with their first SEC matchup against Vanderbilt. And for you, Zach, it's at home, and might as well just go the whole way and make it at night too for Jared Curtis. But I'm intrigued by Byrum Brown. I think he was a great prospect in the transfer portal. Obviously, following his head coach to Auburn was a phenomenal move. And so we'll see what he looks like in SEC play.
Does everybody else have to wait to their – I thought most people opened up their SEC slate in their third game. Are other folks having to wait till their fourth game for that?
Vanderbilt just made their schedule like that, I guess, with the non-con. They went first three, and then it's all conference from the rest of the way.
Game 2 for Alabama.
I think Missouri has the same Vanderbilt setup. I could be wrong, but
got it. Yeah, I just assumed it was like week 3 across the board or game 3 across the board, but I'm clearly wrong on that. Jimmy Stein, most intriguing quarterback outside of Bama from the Bama perspective is who?
For me, it's Sam Leavitt. And Alabama will play LSU late in the year simply because of this. If Sam Leavitt had returned to Arizona State, I wouldn't know what to think about him. I mean, obviously he had a tremendous freshman year, not so great this previous season. Some of it may be due to injury, some of it due to general team decline. Lane Kiffin has worked his magic with just about every quarterback he's ever tutored. You would have to think he's going to get the best out of Sam Leavitt. I'm just not sure exactly what that is. I won't be shocked if he's maybe the best quarterback in the league. And we certainly shouldn't be shocked if he's no better than he was a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sam Leavitt, like the LSU storylines, nobody loves the storylines more than Stephen Willis when it comes to Lane Kiffin. But yeah, you're right, because Lane Kiffin's track record is unbelievable. I think it's a little weird how nobody's bringing up the foot injury stuff with Sam Leavitt. Really feels, it's not the exact same, but does feel a little similar to the DJ Lagway conversation a year ago, where I'm like, no one's talking about how this guy's injured, but like, I think this is important. Different injury, different circumstances, but I am a little surprised that that doesn't typically come up, especially at the national level when people talk about Sam Leavitt.
Yeah, because and we saw a year ago, Lagway, even Nussmeier was hurt all last spring, and then he starts playing, and he played pretty poorly, and everybody's like, what's wrong? And then he goes to the combine and says, well, every time I threw the ball last fall, it hurt because of
Right.
my abdominal injury. So yeah, we'll see if Leavitt's completely recovered. I think LSU went and got another guy just in case, although no one with Sam Leavitt's his upside or his talent. But Lane Kiffin has worked magic with all his quarterbacks at Ole Miss. He's done it before. He certainly did it with his quarterbacks at Alabama. He got the best out of everyone's ability. So you have to think Sam Leavitt's going to be really good. We just haven't seen really good Sam Leavitt in a while.
Chris Marler of Locked On Gamecocks joining us. Welcome, my friend. You're down Baton Rouge. What are you hearing of this conversation? Because you really are in the middle of all of it.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that we're in the middle of a tornado watch, so I've never felt more SEC than right now. So
you're okay.
That's right. It's interesting because the Nussmeier thing was so blatantly obvious, covering that from up close, and it was like, no, he's hurt for sure. And then you just had the ultimate politician, Brian Kelly, being like, no, he's not. You guys are crazy. He's not hurt at all. Trust me. And then it's like, well, he looks pretty hurt. He's wincing a lot. I'm like, that's just what he does when he's excited. So that was wild to watch. I think that the thing with Leavitt that I really do think is going to pay off in their favor is that they went out and got two other kids. The kid from Elon, who I don't expect to be a starter, but he's put in some quality time, and we've seen Lane Kiffin. I know I came in the middle of that conversation, turn a Division II quarterback into the best quarterback maybe in the country in Trinidad Chambliss. Even dating back to when he was the OC at Bama, 9 of his last 11 or 12 quarterbacks have had 30 touchdowns and or 3,000 yards passing in a season. So he's worked wonders. The thing that I love the most is that Hussein Longstreet, the kid from USC, who's a former 5-star committed to A&M.
Good.
That kid's going to get a ton of reps and a ton of quality reps, and we've seen this time and time again. I'm looking at the group we have on here right now. 5 out of the 6 of us have seen a quarterback change. The only one that didn't was Corey Burton at some point over the last 2 years because of either an injury or just wear and tear. It happened to Lenora several times or at least once in both seasons. So I think that depth in the QB room is going to be really, really big for LSU.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just say one more thing on Leavitt?
Yeah, go ahead, John. Absolutely.
John.
I was looking. Hey,
don't listen to Chris Marler.
You were too late to be
my
ordering
bad.
me around at this point. But no, when it comes to Sam Leavitt, the word Liz Frank, and yes, that is one word, makes me a little bit nervous. He did shut it down and get the surgery, though, and that was last October, November, I believe, if I have my timeline right. I think that should be long enough. It really should be. That makes me a lot less nervous than had he put it off until, say, February or something like that. Just timeline-wise, I'd have been a lot more nervous.
Liz Frank, great diary, too. So
it really is.
All
kind
right,
of heart-wrenching, though, you got to say.
We'll continue this exercise.
No, you're not going to pick me?
No, hold on, Steven. Let me do the tease. We got 3 more folks that haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
Steven, myself, Chris Marler. That's next. Right here on Locked On SEC Squad.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Texas won its first ever SEC championship on Sunday, beating South Carolina 78-61 and snapping the Gamecocks' 3-year run as SEC tournament champions. In the Big Ten championship, UCLA dominated Iowa 96-45. The 51-point margin is the most lopsided title game in Big Ten tournament history. With a resume that includes 18 Quad 1 wins and one of the toughest schedules in the country, UCLA is making a serious push for the overall #1 seed. But UConn has held that spot all season and remains the nation's only unbeaten team. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when the momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. All right, rolling on with the SEC squad. Stephen Willis, now it is your time to shine. I'm going to repeat the exercise because Chris Marler didn't hear what we were doing. So we're all going around saying a quarterback that is most intriguing from your team's perspective. You can't say somebody on your own roster. Stephen Willis, it is your turn.
The quarterback that I am intrigued about is Arch Manning because of the Manning's ties to Ole Miss and Ole Miss playing at Texas this year. It is going to be phenomenal one way or another. Now, Arch had a rough start to 2025. There's no way that you can dance around that. But the end of the year, he was really good. If he takes a jump from that year to this year, it could be pretty special for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. Arch Manning is the quarterback I'm paying attention to.
That's a good one. That's certainly a good one. We definitely saw him get better over the course of the year. Can he continue to carry that pressure? He seems more ready for it this year than he did last year. I think he kind of went through some growing pains, and I actually think he handled a lot of the pressure pretty well. Does anybody want to say anything about Arch Manning before we let Chris Marler go?
I predicted greatness for him a year ago. So I guess we find out this year. Was I wrong or early?
I'll tell you
wrong,
what,
Jimmy. You were wrong.
I think
you could be early.
Coleman in is going to make it easier for him. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, Texas was lacking in talent.
You're right, Marler. Like, yeah, that's really what they needed. It was more talent. You're right. What'd you say, Corey?
I was saying having Cam Coleman makes it a lot easier to be great. So, Jimmy, you might be right.
Yeah, maybe so.
Just early.
All right, Chris Marler,
Yeah.
Who's your quarterback that's most intriguing from the South Carolina point of view?
Peyton Thorne. He's going to be starting for the Monte Cristo Mustangs. It's like a C League version of indoor arena football. I'm pretty fired up about that. I think from my standpoint, it's more so. There's 7 out of the 10 quarterbacks that South Carolina will face from Power 4 competition will be, or teams are going to be facing, or breaking in a new quarterback. I think the one I'm most interested in that can have their team have the highest fluctuation in ceiling and floor is I'm going to say he wins the starting job is Keelon Russell. I know that the board is very high on Austin Mack, and he obviously was high enough on him to have him follow him from Washington and then forget how to say Julian Saint's name and allow him go to Ohio State. That was tough. But Keelon Russell, you think about all of the people and players that Alabama's brought in since Saban got there, and now with DeBoer, he's the highest ranked recruit in the history of that program. Higher than Julio, higher than Bryce Young, higher than any of them. And I think that it's hard to keep somebody like that, on like the 2 line of that depth chart for very long. So I think it'll be really interesting to see if he's the starter and how well he's supposed to be a generational talent, how well he'll be able to play.
Jimmy, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the competition between Austin Mack and Keelon Russell is likely to produce a pretty good quarterback. I think the betting favorites Keelon Russell. I mean, that's who I would go with at FanDuel is Keelon Russell. But Austin Mack is going to make it really tough on him, and early whispers are he's off to a really good start in camp. Fourth year guy who's never started reminds me of a guy named Ty Simpson a year ago who was going into his year 4, who had never been a starter and really flourished, might end up being a first-round pick. Austin Mack has a ton of ability. It's year 4 for him. But my guess would be Keelon Russell ultimately wins the job.
Jimmy,
from the
did they
outside
look at
looking
anything
in, I kind of
portal?
question how much of a true battle that is, Jimmy.
I think it's absolutely a true battle, 100%. If they really believed that Keelon is definitely going to be the starter, he wouldn't be splitting 50-50 reps, even at this juncture. They're splitting 50-50 reps. There'll be 3 scrimmages that Alabama has, including the final scrimmage, which will be the A-Day game. We'll get a real good look at how they're splitting reps at that point. I think the battle is going to extend all the way deep into fall camp myself.
Interesting. All right. The quarterback that I think is most intriguing from the Auburn point of view is Aaron Philo of Florida. I don't fully get that one. I'm not going to lie to you. And then, when Florida comes to Auburn, it'll be both teams starting, their SEC slate against each other. And obviously, those 2 coaches, I think, are going to be tied together because of how the coaching carousel went over the off season. And so I think it's going to be clearly an important one. And whoever wins that game is going to have so much hope and excitement going, into their first season under the new head coaches. And then there's going to be some frustration for whoever loses it. And I think Aaron Philo coming to Jordan Hare, I think that's intriguing because I don't fully get it. I think they could have done and gotten, a much more proven guy, but I'm excited to see how that shakes out. So Aaron Philo at Florida.
Are we sure he's going to be the starter?
Yeah.
I mean,
Good
Tramel
question.
Jones is an interesting piece there. And Buster's not afraid to, just because he played with him at Georgia Tech doesn't mean he's going to necessarily start. I mean, he may end up winning the battle, but I mean, Tramel Jones has a different dynamic to his game that might be more intriguing and might be a better fit with that offense. So it's basically intrigues me as the winner of that quarterback battle and what identity Florida is going to take on as a result of that.
Aaron Philo's thrown about the same amount of career passes as Austin Simmons. I'm just saying.
Who's that?
Your presumptive Missouri starter.
By the way, I question John Summerall's decision-making after this week announcing that he is not going to take his wife that he's been married to for 15 years on her 40th birthday to Italy because he's too busy. That's not something he's going to hear about for 25 years.
That was a tough scene there, Steven. That was when he said it, I was like, and then he said they're not even going out of the state. They're going to stay in Florida, which there's a lot to do in Florida, but my God, dude.
Yeah.
Bad move.
I winced a little bit when I saw that. I was like, not good, John. Not good.
Yeah, I'm sure Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones are really good players, but you got to go home every night to her.
Yeah, it's also fair.
Right. Yeah.
Take her to Italy.
He must have Joe Judge's PR guy.
Well, I'm glad he earned the Florida logo, which is good. I know that was kind of a thing that they were talking about is you got to earn it. You got to earn it. Which is
my least favorite part of spring football. We're not putting names on the back of the jerseys this year. It's more important the name on the front. We're like, we got it, dude. We got it. I saw remember the Titans
thing too.
It's fantastic.
How
we're going to make the
Yeah.
quarterback making $3 million a year earn his right to have the name on the back of the
It's
jersey.
like, what?
And shockingly, he ends up with the jersey number everybody thought he was going to have.
Yeah, crazy how that works out.
That's right. That's right.
His team.
Did we leave any of these quarterbacks out? And then, are there eligibility questions still lingering for some of these guys? Like, does that make the situation intriguing? That's next right here on the SEC Squad.
Coach Pay is giving Locked On College Football listeners up to $2,000 credit for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, construction, HVAC, landscaping, or any operation with trucks on the road, you already know how messy gas and material spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappear, and month end turns into a major headache. Coast Pay fixes all of that. It's a modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets. Fuel, maintenance, and materials all in one card with real control and instant visibility. You want real-time alerts? They've got that. Automatic receipt capture? Yep, the sure thing. And fraud protection with employee check-ins by text. no shared pins. It works everywhere Visa is accepted, no detours to specific stations. It's built for operators who do not have time to chase paperwork. And unlike old fuel cards, there are no contracts or commitments, just smarter expense control. Right now, CoastPay is offering our listeners up to $2,000 credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockedoncollege to see how you can earn up to $2,000 credit today. Terms apply.
And welcome to the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set and now on the clock with the number one pick of the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft is John Miller. Who's the first pick?
How did I know you were going to pick me? I'm going watermelon for sure. There's no doubt. Crisp and caffeinated. You got to love it. And zero sugar. Doesn't get any better than that.
All right. With the second pick, who fell to the second overall pick? Jimmy?
Grape.
Gross.
Got bunked grape.
Yep.
And who doesn't need 5 hours worth of energy?
That's what I'm saying.
I've had 4 today.
This time of night.
Find your new favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots available at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. All right, final few minutes here. Is there any sort of intrigue from you guys' position on, what is happening at Ole Miss with Trinidad or what is happening at Tennessee with Joey Aguilar? Do y'all think that's pretty much worked itself out up to this point?
Who wants to start?
I think the Ole
We'll be
Miss thing is for
surprised,
show.
right? If Chambliss isn't the quarterback, won't we be surprised? I mean, in terms of his eligibility, and conversely, I don't believe that Aguilar will, right? I mean,
right.
That's on the surface.
The quarterback for Ole Miss in 2026 is going to be Chambliss. I mean, that the NCAA appealed, but it's asking permission to appeal, and the Supreme Court can just say no. And by the way, like 7 out of the 8 justices, they have a law degree from Ole Miss.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yes, I thought it was 9. I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, there's only one of the justices do not.
I didn't realize Ole Miss just churned that out. That's incredible.
Yeah, there's 2 law schools.
It's a great law
in the
school.
State. Yeah, there's 2 law schools in the state, and like 90% of the judges in that state are Ole Miss grads.
How about that?
The fact that the NCAA is asking permission in the state of Mississippi to do it is hysterical. I wrote about this last week, shameless plug, and I was like, this and in the Fast and Furious movies, it's like every time you think it's going to end, it's like, no, we're sending Tyrese to space this time. You're like, what? Just call it a day, man. You're not going to win this case. Everybody wants to see Trinidad Chambliss that likes college football, wants to see him play. And I think more than anything at this point, we just don't care. Like it's nothing is going to change when they go back into a courtroom. And we've already seen how it's played out. They've already made their decision. And so at this point, I'm like, let's just move on and whatever case you want to lose next, go to that one.
Yeah. You want to hear my tinfoil? That was released the day before the Save College Sports thing and everything to get eyeballs on Washington, D.C., releasing a 654-page document, which it was an 18-page appeal, and they sent like the rule book for the NCAA, ran photocopies of it for the total thing. It was all for show so that they could get eyeballs in Washington.
I don't think it's tinfoil at all, man. I think that's probably what happened.
Reasonable. Yeah, for sure. Chris Marler bringing up Fast and Furious. Power rank.
Hell yeah.
The top 3 Fast and Furious movies. Who wants to take a stab at this?
I'm so glad I found the link.
Number 1 for sure. Come on,
John. He asked me, not you. First and foremost.
I asked the general group.
I think Fast 5 is very good. Fast 4 is probably number 2. And I would have to say either 6 or the original. After that, they got really, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Like some of them, I'll just say it, guys, not very believable. Not very believable.
John Miller, your thoughts on Chris Marler's list there?
Sorry, did you ask me?
What's the one they go to Brazil in? I lost count.
5.
I was going to say, basically, for me, the series ended. They did a good job of sending Paul Walker out kind of beautifully. I'm not even joking. Once Charlize Theron showed up, I don't really have any time for it anymore. I got to be honest.
I thought Fast and Furious was a documentary about Antonio Brown. It's movies?
No, it was a
Jimmy,
documentary.
you're incredible.
It was a documentary about the Georgia football team.
There it is.
I just watch sports documentaries.
I mean, what is less believable, that they keep making these movies, or that every 2 to 3 weeks, we get on Twitter at 8 a.m. and Clint Shamblin is sending us something about a Georgia football player being arrested again, because that seems at this point just as far fetched. Like, how have they not stopped this yet?
Right.
Maybe the NCAA and the government should step in with that.
The best thing about those tweets is it happened. We just found out about that, but it goes into a paragraph justifying why it happened. That's the fun part about those tweets.
Yeah, Vin Diesel is telling the Georgia football players to rein it in a notch with their reckless driving. That's for sure.
Muller, I thought you were going to be at the Creed concert with Gordy.
I'm so pissed right now. No, so our dog had emergency surgery. Allie's leaving tomorrow for her bachelorette party, so I was not able to go see Creed tonight because I had to stay home and make sure that I was back in time for the dog to be given all their medicine. But they're coming to New Orleans on April 11th or 12th. That's Sunday in a month from now, and I will be there, or I will break up with Allie.
Now that's the most SEC thing ever.
Well,
All right.
and do you want to know the point that you know that you're getting old? My wife told me that the Offspring was at the Strawberry Festival in Plant City, Florida, and we could have seen them. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am.
Isn't that
ancient.
the worst?
Yeah, it's like the grocery stores putting out bangers and you can't listen to the radio anymore.
I do love it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Also, anytime you see one of your favorite bands from your adolescence is playing at a county amphitheater, you're like, sheesh, that is tough. That's not good.
Yeah. I used to listen to that one, and you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Right.
All right, are we good? Anybody want to add anything quarterback related? We all could go around the room and say something nice about Byrum Brown. Are we good to go? Are we fine?
Is he going to be that good?
Is he going to be that good? Yeah.
After week 4, yeah. After week 4, he could be as good as he wants to be. But
yeah,
I gotta say, I love that what Auburn did this time around with the hire and the quarterback was like in the past, it was like, hey, let's go get a guy who's got a kind of a shady past. We don't love that, but he beat Bama twice 10 years ago. And then this time they were like, okay, that didn't work. What if we get a guy that almost beat Bama twice within the last 5 years? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. So, just in the future, they're going to end up going to get like the coach from Mercer, I think, next time around.
Which hire do you think is better? The Hugh Freeze one or the Alex Golish one?
I hate that I thought the Hugh Freeze thing was going to work. I just listen. It's not an election year, but I'm not going to say anything bad about Russians at all. So I'll set this one out.
All right, I think that does it for this week's edition. The SEC squad. Jimmy Stein of Locked On Bama, John Miller, Locked On Mizzou, Chris Marler, Locked On Gamecocks, Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy, Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. I'm Zach Blackerby, I host Locked On Auburn. This has been another edition of Locked On SEC Squad.
Can you take me higher?